Hi there! Welcome to this tutorial where I'll show you how to hand sew a flat button step by step. When it comes to buttons, you will usually find two main types, flat buttons and shank buttons. Flat buttons have holes through the center, usually 2 or 4, and tends to sit directly against the fabric. Shank buttons, on the other hand, have a little loop on the back. This built-in space allows the button to sit slightly raised, making it easier to fasten, especially on thicker fabrics. When working with flat buttons, we often try to create the illusion of that space by adding a thread shank. This is especially helpful when sewing on thicker fabrics or on garments that will be buttoned and unbuttoned often. The added space helps prevent puckering and gives the button more flexibility. With this being said, if the button is just for decoration or is sewn onto a lightweight fabric, you could skip the thread shank and sew it flat instead. However, for the purpose of this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to hand sew a flat button with the thread shank. This little technique is simple but makes a big difference, especially on garments that need to be functional and long-lasting. But before we start sewing, let's go over the materials you'll need. First, your flat buttons, hand sewing needle, a thread that matches either the fabric or the button depending on the design detail that you want to enhance, scissors, a pin or an awl which we will use to help create the shank. And finally, thread wax, which helps reduce tangling and makes the stitching smoother. Alright, let's get started. To make everything easier to see on camera, I'll be using a contrasting thread. I'm starting by threading my needle. You can use a single or a double thread for this, but I'll be working with double thread for a bit of extra strength. Once that's ready, tie a knot at the end and run the thread through some wax. You can quickly press the thread either with your fingers or with the actual iron to remove any excess. Next, with the right side of the fabric facing you, we'll anchor the thread to the fabric, right at the spot where the button will go. This will help us hide the knot underneath the button so it won't show on the back of the fabric. Cut any thread excess and then push the needle all the way to the back and bringing it back to the front to secure it in place. Now insert the needle through one of the buttonholes and then down through the one next to it all the way to the back. This first stitch just slightly holds the button in place. Place your awl or pin under the button to keep it raised. This is how we create that extra space for the shank. And sew through the holes a few more times, keeping your stitches even and tidy. Don't pull too tight. We want a bit of slack so the thread shank has room to form, and you just need to hold the awl and the button with your thumb while you are stitching. Once the button feels secure, remove the pin and bring the needle under the button. Wrap the thread tightly around the stitches a few times. This is what forms the thread shank, giving your button that lift. To finish, bring the needle to the back and secure it with a knot. Then hide the thread tail between the fabric layers, making sure nothing shows on the right side of the fabric. Trim off the excess and you're done. This is how a flat button with a thread shank looks once it's finished. It's secure, functional, and with a neat little lift. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below in the comments. Happy sewing! I'll see you in the next one. Bye!